Last time, we finally had the chance to leave our starting city. We took on a job in Limsa, which sent us down into the Sastasha sea grot. There we discovered secret passages and plenty of pirates. After this task was done, Badran told us that the sister guild in Gridania is in need of an adventurer. As we wished to make a name for ourselves, we grabbed the first airship over. Arriving in Gridania, it doesn't take us long to find Mother Mion, the proprietress of the Caroline Canopy, and the guide for all new adventurers within the city-state of Gridania. She was expecting us as Badran, or the foul-mouthed rogue as he calls him, sent some word ahead about him sending over an excellent adventurer to sort out her problems. We eagerly ask about the job, and just before she is able to begin explaining, we are joined by no other but Bolord Levin, the head of the local guards. He has come to inform Mother Mion that the issue has become even more pressing, and he wants to know if anyone has offered to take the job. He happily informs him that all is good, as they indeed have a volunteer. He is thrilled to see us and offers to explain the matter at hand. Beneath the central shroud is an underground burial site called Tam-Tara Deecproft. The place was once a Gilmoran settlement from the times where Gridanians lived below ground, before they brokered peace with the elementals. A fascinating part of Gridania's history is a detail in the origin of Gridania, which you can find in the iCard. It turns out lately shadowy figures have been skulking about the Deecproft, and as this is a place Gridanians lay their dead to rest, well, that can't be good. Even worse, they seem to be individuals belonging to the Lamp of Dalamut, which were a doomsday cult that sprung up leading to the 7th Umbral Calamity. Gods know what they're up to down there. Now, Levin explains usually he would dispatch his own men to deal with it, but with the rising Ixol threat around the city-state, and how the Calamity decimated his guard number, well, there simply aren't enough men to do it. So instead, he has turned to adventurers like us. We happily agree to handle this matter, both because it gives us a good name, and also it's just kinda creepy that some cult is hanging around in a burial crypt. We make our way out to the central shroud, this time on foot, finding it to be a rather hardy walk, and head further south till we find the Deecproft. Like around Sastasha, we are far from the only adventurer around. This time we encounter Dolores Bear, Imanafa, and Kikina. These three were the ones speaking to Badron after our last job, the ones who wanted the Sastasha job, but came a little bit too late. They are happy to see us, and we spend some time chatting about their exploits and dreaming about our future adventures. How perhaps one day our deeds might become the stuff of songs. We also come across the grandfather and granddaughter pair of Isildur and Alian. It seems they just came out of the dungeon. Apparently Isildur got injured, leading them to be unable to finish the task. Isildur claimed he made a rather rookie mistake by leaping before he looked, a mistake made in the heat of the moment, but a costly one. Thankfully, he is still alive, so he will be able to go on further adventures. Though I think Alian is a little bit shaken by the experience. We wish the two the very best and honestly feel glad they're well. Even if their foray into the Deecproft was unsuccessful, it is kinda good for us, as it means the job is still open. We gather our party and speak to the guard outside. Apparently there is a group of adventurers inside, but they haven't come out yet, and they're not sure how long they're gonna be, or if they've been successful, or if they're hurt. So we'll make note to keep an eye out for them. The God's Quiver guard reminds us that it's our task to purge the Deecproft of the Lamps of Dalamut. And he gives us a bit more information about the cult. Apparently they believe Dalamut was their god, which made the moon exploding into 1,000 little pieces rather disappointing for them. Since then, they've gone a bit extreme, believing everyone but them are heretics who interfered with the coming of their lord, and now their goal is to avenge him. Great. They just sound peachy. Well, can't let them stay in there, cause know what they're doing in the Deecproft full of dead bodies. It definitely can't be anything good. So in we go, and yeah, they are definitely up to something. There is a purple floating orb in the middle of the Deecproft. Why? We have no clue, but it's there and this definitely should not be there. After some running around, we do come across our first cultist, who seems to be working on some sort of an orb, who seems to be fueling the big one in the air. We take him down, only for some void fiend to be summoned in. We deal with that as well, before turning off the orb. With one connection gone, we decide this is the plan. We move from one orb to the next, turning them off until we come across a barrier, where the last 2 orbs remain. Finding no way to get past the barrier, we head further into the dungeon till we find a cultist rosary. A clearly magical object and perhaps the key to our problem. Which would be good, as this is as deep down as the dungeon goes. We backtrack to the barrier, smack it with the rosary, and it opens up. Cultists do have the neatest little keys, don't they? We kill the cultists inside, and the Void Fiend before turning off the final 2 orbs, believing this should sort out the problem. But suddenly a stone bridge rises leading onto the final central platform, and the orb does not vanish. Instead, it floats down and lands, spawning the Void Fiend known as Galavanth the Dominator. This Void Fiend is pissed off as the body it was given is apparently not satisfactory, potentially a result of us meddling with the orbs. Knowing this thing can definitely not stay here, we had to slay it. We find the Void Fiend to have some tricks up their oversized sleeves, being able to summon in void imps and generally be a bother. Still, at the end it falls, and for a moment it feels like a natural quiet has settled over the Deecproft. The lambs of Dalamut expelled and the dead able to rest in peace at last. Heading outside, we find the area empty as before. What follows is a long walk to Gridania in the fresh night air as we wonder what happened to that group that was inside the croft when we entered. We hope they're okay, though we will soon learn they are not. It is quite late as we enter the Caroline canopy and inform Mother Mion that the task is done. She is very pleased with us, so pleased in fact she tells us to go to Ulda, where her sister guild is advertising another job. She encourages us to head over there and keep up the good work, and we wholeheartedly agree that this is the best thing we can do. And as we prepare to set off on the next part of our journey, we get to see the harsh reality of being an adventurer. The group we met is Sastasha, Edda, Avery, Liavine and Peyoreo are here. Well, all but Avery. It seems this was the group inside the Deecproft, and Avery did not make it outside, and his death has broken this group apart completely, as we watch Peyoreo and Liavine place all the blame on Edda and cruelly leave her behind. And it is Liavine's parting words that make us shudder as we head down to the airship landing. Get rid of Avery's head. Bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hell you like with it. But for God's sakes, stop carrying it around. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do all the good YouTube stuff. And if you want more content like this, make sure to check out my other videos and what YouTube is offering right here. If you're curious about the continuation of Edda's story and what happens to the head she's carrying, you can check out my video on Edda. It is quite dark, but also very fascinating. But whatever you end up doing, I truly hope you have a lovely day.